I've been talking about them a lot, so I figured today let's go over the Dead Duck plugins. So, despite the name, nothing about death, nothing about ducks, except it does kill it in the mix. So, these are some amazing tools. I really like them, and more do I find myself reaching for them. So, we're going to start off with this drum loop. That's a pretty basic drum loop for trap. If I were to, let's say, have a clip or a vocal or drums with noise, the gate is amazing. So I'm just going to put this noise in. It's not a pleasant sound, but now you could hear it in the drums. But let's say you don't want that noise. The gate, there we go. Automatically, it's going to stop any sound as long as it is under 40 decibels if you have it all the way here. And then you could choose how long you want it to hold, how long do you want it to stay open. So this is what the drums sound like with the noise, but gated, in between the hits. So even though there's noise, that still sounds pretty dope. And all I'm doing is I'm adding in about 30 or negative 45 decibels of white noise. This is all it is. And if you have something that's got noise, which you'll often find if you get something that's sampled, there's going to be a little bit of hiss, a little bit of hum, a little bit of noise. Or if you're recording a vocal in a noisy space, you may hear the AC in between phrases. And as soon as you compress, that noise is getting turned way up, especially in the gaps. So this gate cuts out everything. As a matter of fact, you probably haven't realized it. In this chain, I have been using this compressor for a while now, and it does a great job at making sure that my vocals stay nice and clean. Without it, this is what you hear. A lot of background hum. Because despite me being in my studio, it's actually just my living room now since I live in an apartment now. So my fridge, the mini fridge, the AC, all that, neighbors, kids outside, they'll show up in the gaps. But my gate is set so tight, as soon as I stop talking, silence. And it's beautiful. So the gate's amazing. Next is the compressor. The compressor is one of the cleanest, tightest compressors I've used in a while. And it's not the most transparent, but it's also really clean. It's not going to add saturation. It's not going to add too much of anything. It's just going to give you a really, really snappy compression. So first things first, max out the ratio, max down the threshold. So here we go. You can see the reduction on the meter is orange, and it's absolutely amazing. If I were to back this off a little bit, as soon as I start moving this attack back, you're going to start hearing more of the peak come through, and it's going to pop. It's going to be nice. But not only is it really good at that, it has a makeup and a mix knob. So if you want to parallel compress, I could just slam it like this and then choose how much I want to blend in with the original signal. So that compressor is really amazing. It's really quick to dial in. You don't have to mess with it. There's no 300 settings, and it has a meter. What more could you ask for? Maybe a little bit of saturation, but that's beside the point. It's a great tool and I love it. You could even sidechain with it. You just have to turn on the sidechain here, choose what you want going into the sidechain, and then you just click external, and then you have a sidechain going. Ferdy Limiter could do sidechain compression, but I've never been able to get it as tight as I need it to. It always kind of sounds dead. This plugin, it allows me to sidechain in pretty much the exact same way, but I get as much snap as I want, as much attack as I want, as deep of a cut. And if I don't want a full cut, I could just use the mix knob and, only cut a little bit, leave some of the natural signal in there. So this plugin is amazing. Next, the EQ. Obviously, we have parametric EQ2, which is great. Parametric EQ2 is my go-to for good majority of EQ. If I need to high pass, low pass, do some notches, like obviously, I'm gonna reach for this because like I can make these as narrow as I want, take big scoops out of things. Excuse me, super necessary whenever you are just really needing to work quickly and clean up a lot of noise. However, the dead duck equalizer, what it does is it gives you a nice style EQ. If I want to boost the low end in a natural way, parametric EQ2 isn't necessarily great at that. It tends to be a little extreme. It's not going to be smooth. This, I now have thump. If I want to raise the treble, it's going to give me a nice round EQ sound. So for cleanup, parametric EQ2 for sure. But when you need a stylistic EQ to just make your synths pop out, give them a little bit of treble, you want your basses to have a little bit more snarl, a little bit more growl to them, it's amazing for that. Just reach for it. If you have a snare that just sounds perfect, but you want to give it a little bit more energy in the low mids, boost it, choose what frequency you need, choose how wide you want it to be, and you're good to go. Set and forget. It's amazing. Next, the reverb. There are a lot of reverbs out there that are really realistic. This is not even close. But it sounds realistic in the way it handles a room sound. So here's my drums. And that sounds pretty okay, but as soon as you start messing with the dampening and the pre-delay, that's where you're going to notice it starts coming together. It sounds like a really nice, smooth room. And the high pass, high pass and low pass, great. Super good for drums. It's really good on vocals. It's not going to be the most lush reverb, but it is going to give you a very smooth reverb that's going to just really help glue things together and make things sound really nice and smooth. I love it. I use it all the time. Once you set the pre-delay, you can even sync the pre-delay, which is really nice. You could choose what beat you want it. So let's say I want a 16th note. It's now a stylistic reverb because it's hitting a quarter note late. You can play with that. It's really quick to dial in, as you saw. It's only a few knobs. You don't need a 3D visualizer like Fruity Reverb 2. That's a great reverb. Fruity Reverb 1 is just as good. But this, it offers a level of smoothness that just doesn't get offered out of a lot of things. Now, I forgot one more. DE. The delay, really nice. I accidentally messed up and I set mine to where it starts with the lows completely cut off and the highs completely cut off, meaning it's muted. But, yours is probably going to be correct. So I'm going to close all these windows. Here we go. I'm going to set these to time link. super, super, super quick to dial in, super easy. If you only want it to be a mono delay, they have a mono delay. However, I don't really see a point in using it, especially when you can just link the controls. And now this is completely bypassed. It's now a, it's still going to be stereo, but it's going to be the same on both sides. So, meh. You could choose the mix, you could choose the high pass, low pass, all things I would be using a send for and then adding another EQ. With this, I don't need to. I can get away with this and then just notch out whatever frequency I need on the send like that. So I'm good to go. So altogether, if you need any sort of plugins and you're not super satisfied with the stock FL stuff, the Dead Duck plugins are amazing. They're free. They do great things. And with like once you add parametric EQ2 in the mix, you can do a full mix with these basically. You have I don't have all of them in my menus because there's a couple I won't use, like the flange, chorus. I have enough of those, so I don't need them. However, all these, including the expander, which is kind of like a gate, but it's not a full gate. It doesn't off on. It sets the low point. You can set it to only turn down to -50 or whatever. It's pretty simple. But these plugins are fantastic. So go check them. They're free. They're beautiful. And if you like channel strips, they have one too. And it's comparable to Waves. So SSL, where is it? So if you put that next to the Waves one, let me see, there we go. All of the features that the Waves has, so you have the high pass, low pass, you have that here. You got 4 bands, you have 4 bands. You have a compressor, you got the compressor, you got the gate, You could choose the order. These set the order. You could do that here, and it's a lot more straightforward. You even have a limiter on this, which is really nice because you don't have one on here. But you have everything you need, honestly. Oh, I believe there's a gate on. Yeah, there's a gate. I already said that. Sorry. Got scatterbrained. Anyways, check out these plugins if you haven't already. They're fantastic. Anyways, that's it. Peace.